Hey there, everyone. Welcome to my live book discussion series. And this is discussion number 2. I am Shawnta Jackson, and my purpose in life is to help people to help themselves and others. And welcome to the book club discussion for my new book, The Resilience of a Woman, Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance. And the plan is every Sunday in March at the same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific. We'll be talking about different chapters. Today, we are discussing chapters 3 and 4. Chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 3 is about love and relationships, and it's entitled Love and Relationships. And chapter 4 is a letter to my boyfriends, or dear boyfriends, the chapter. And last week we discussed chapter 1, which is Owning My Story, the Power of Storytelling. And I talked a little bit about just how I learned through the process of writing this book, just how I have forgiven and I understand and I accept reality as it relates to my previous relationship with my ex-husband and our current relationship and our current co-parenting situation. And then I also shared chapter 2, and we discussed the benefits of positive affirmations and gratitude. So if you missed last week, simply just go on to my YouTube page and you can watch that discussion. And again, today we are discussing chapter 3, Love and Relationships, and chapter 4, Letters to My Boyfriends. And so please do enter your comments and questions in the chat. If you have not already purchased a copy of my book, The Resilience of a Woman, please do visit my website at shawntajackson.com, and it is also available online wherever books are sold. And let's get into it. Let's see who's checking in. Thank you. We have someone commenting on my hair color. I appreciate that. Trying something different. I recently, so last episode, I was 40 years old. This episode, I'm 41, so I did have a birthday. And so this is my birthday celebration month as well, this book. So thank you, everyone. And we have Mr. Pope checking in from Las Vegas. Hello to you. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Chapter 3, Love and Relationships. The format is I will share a few excerpts from the book, and then I will open the floor up for questions and any comments that you have. And for those of you who have a copy of the book, just any insight that you may have as well. Okay, so chapter 3, Love and Relationships. A common theme in my journal entries has been love and relationships, manifesting love, expecting love, allowing yourself to trust someone else, balancing independence and relationships, unconditional love and commitment, and shallow thinking. I even shared that falling in love on a boat in the Mediterranean was on my bucket list, and as silly as it may seem to some people, it is still there. One of my key takeaways in my first book was my belief that love is intentional. Actually, I want to start that one over. One of my key takeaways in my first book was my belief that love is intentional, deliberate, and conscious, and can be manifested, meaning that we have to make ourselves available to give and receive love. I also shared that I was not sure if I really believed in or expected to find love and true companionship. I will use this chapter to share my current thoughts about love, which required me to really dig deep within me to be honest with myself and you. So how do I feel about love? I definitely want love and am capable of loving myself, another person, and everything that we love together. I know exactly what love is, and now I think it is more about making yourself available and not passing on the opportunity to love and be loved. Love and being in a relationship are choices. You can choose to love someone. You can choose to commit to someone and build a life with that person. We just have to choose the right reasons and the right person at the right time. This is the hard part because How do we know what is right? And so I then go on to talk about more about just my thoughts about love and relationships. And in closing of this chapter, I share an excerpt from a personal journal entry that I wrote after the release of my first book. Dear love, you have always been around. You have always been with me. You molded me and taught me lessons. You were there to comfort me when my love was not accepted and betrayed. You are with me now and standing by, waiting for the right moment to reveal yourself to me like you have never done before. You understand me. You are very understanding. You are going to continuously improve my life. I am ready for you. Please reveal yourself to me, or better yet, open my heart so that I may reveal myself to you. Your thoughts about love and relationships. And for my readers, I leave space for you all to write. And I ask you, what are your key takeaways from this chapter? What are your thoughts about love and relationships? Whether you are in a relationship or not, write down the pros and cons of a person being in a relationship with you. Again, what are the pros and cons of someone being in a relationship with you? Also, what are your deal breakers and why? Is there anything about yourself or your standards that you should work on changing? Be honest with yourself, right? And so that was chapter 3, Love and Relationships, the Resilience of a Woman. For those of you who are just joining in, I am Shawnta Jackson, and you can purchase a copy of my book and learn more about me at shawntajackson.com. Okay, and so the next chapter, Letters to My Boyfriends. Okay. On public platforms and through written communications, with my readers, I often joke about having multiple boyfriends, and at times I post public messages to my boyfriends, who are usually men that I don't know in everyday life, who openly engage with and support my endeavors. The following message is dedicated to them. So this is to you, to my boyfriends. Dear boyfriends, first, I want to start off by saying that you are appreciated and that the world needs you. We need you. I need you. The world cannot exist without you. However, we want you to do more than exist. We want you to reach your highest potential, live your life's purpose, and achieve the highest level of success in all areas of your life. Regardless of where you are in your life at this moment, it is never too late to become a better version of yourself. It is never too late to start doing the work of self-reflection and self-improvement. It is never too late to decide on who you must become in order to be your best self. It is never too late to start doing the work to heal from any negative situation in your past or present. It is never too late to learn. It is never too late to love and be loved. And so that's my letter that I wanted to share publicly to my boyfriends. And I think that it's a message that's important for men to hear, especially for men to hear from a woman. And I think that is very important for Black men to hear, especially from a Black woman. So like I said, we love you, we need you, we wouldn't exist without you. But however, we want you to do more than exist. We want you to live to your life's highest potential in every area of your life. Okay. And actually I'm going to open the floor up for questions. But before I do, I'm a little nervous. And so I actually have real letters. So in addition to the message above that I just shared, I also would like to share real life journal entries that I have written since the release of my first book to men who I actually date or have dated in some capacity, and that, like you, will be reading these entries for the first time. I am a little embarrassed and nervous to share, but I addressed dating, love, and relationships so heavily in my previously published journal entries that it is only right for me to be transparent with my readers about my current dating life, at least at the time of writing this book, which has improved since my last book, even though I am still single, learning lessons about love and experiencing slight disappointments. And so I won't share them all. I'll share one short one. And then I want to actually go to my first book to share with you all what I actually wrote about manifesting love and how I define love. But before I do, we're still in, so we're on page 30. Dear boyfriend, I cannot sleep. I wish I could, but I cannot. I wish my mind was clear, but it is not. The light is hurting my eyes, but I cannot stand to sit in the dark. I have no interest in scrolling through social media or reading online content. I am writing just because I need to clear my mind and figure out what is on my mind. I do not even have to figure it out. I just want to empty my thoughts enough so that I can hear God and receive comfort, to receive guidance and advice. I know not to lean on my own understanding. I just have to let go of trying to control everything. Actually, I lose control if things do not go my way. What is really bothering me is that I did not get a chance to speak to you today. I wanted to share my day with you. I can barely stop monitoring my phone and barely sleep because I anticipate your phone calls. I am comfortable and I got used to talking to you. I am spoiled, I admit. I worry that you will change your mind about me or that I may come across as burdensome or needy. All right. So I continue to share a little more intimate letters to my boyfriends. And then again, space for you, the reader, to write. I simply ask you, what are your key takeaways from this chapter? What person in your past, present, or future would you write a letter to? If no one were there to judge you, what would you write? Okay. And I'll go to the comment section in a few, but in my first book, The Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences, I explained love, and I explained love as follows. 1, love is empathy and caring, not lust and infatuation. 2, love is a verb and action. 3, how we express love can be influenced by our culture, upbringing, and past experiences. 4, love motivates people to care for others by trying to prevent or end their suffering. 5, love is patient and kind and requires acceptance. 6, love is not a fixed amount. 7, love is communicated in different ways, and we have to learn how we communicate our love and how our partner communicates their love, because love has languages. And so again, that is, I just kind of wanted to define and kind of go back, because in the new book, The Resilience of a Woman, I actually reference my first book. Again, for those of you who are joining in, I'm Shawnta Jackson, and you can learn more about me and purchase a copy of my book at shawntajackson.com. Thank you for being so supportive, and I'm very appreciative of this platform and this opportunity to share my work. And this is really me being vulnerable. This is really me stepping outside of my comfort zone in an effort to help someone else. And just me again. So in my first book, my bucket list, for all of you who have the copy of my first book, I mentioned that I wanted to write a book, have a television show, and I have a lot of other things on my list. So what you are actually doing is you're joining me on my journey of self-exploration, self-expression, and self-care. And so I really appreciate you all for that. And at this time, I'll go into the chat box. So again, we have Asia checking in from Silver Spring, Maryland, and we have Mr. Pope from Las Vegas. We have Gina. Gina is checking in from Oakland, and we have my mom checking in. Hello, beautiful. Thank you so much for the hair compliment. We have Shalonda checking in from Woodbridge, Virginia, and we have Mr. Do John. He says, "Yes, I think you passed on new love." Oh, that's probably one of my boyfriends that I probably dated and didn't give him a chance. So, but we have Do checking in from Chicago. Possibly, I possibly could have passed on it then, and I don't know. Let me know if you have a question then, if you have a question in addition to your comment. And we actually, let's see, Asia has a question. I'll go back to your question, but really quick, we have Jasmine Harris checking in from Chicago. She says, I totally agree. I will be sharing with my boyfriends. And we have Terry checking in from Columbia, Maryland. Hi, Terry. And she says that she agrees healing and forgiveness is important, and she wants to know, what is my opinion on being friends with your exes. I think that it's okay to have a friendship with your ex if that's what you are adults, and if that's what you choose to do. However, if you are in a new relationship or if you are married, and then that's where it gets tricky. And me personally, I'll speak for myself. My exes, if they had the opportunity, they would get back with me. And so it's not platonic, and their intentions are not necessarily pure. They play friends because I play because of me. But I definitely would respect my partner, my spouse, my husband, and I definitely, for me personally, I'm not going to be friends with any of my exes. We can say hi if I see you and I'm out and about or something, but I personally would probably even change my phone number because a lot of guys have my phone number. And let's see who else is checking in. We have Jimmy checking in from Las Vegas. We have Terry checking in from Baltimore. Thank you for the compliments. And Jimmy says, "I get my love in action." Verb, exactly. Love, yes, very. It is an action. It's a verb. And Kyle, we have Kyle checking in from Las Vegas. Very vulnerable. I admire your courage and openness. Thank you so much, Kyle. We have Tia checking in from Nashville, Tennessee. Congratulations on the release. Thank you. Thank you. The Resilience of a Woman, available at ShawntaJackson.com. And let me go back. We have Audrey Parker checking in from Las Vegas. And to Terry's question, Elois Kelly has a feedback, and Elois is checking in from I believe Prince George's County, Maryland. And so Elois says, I think it depends on the nature of the breakup, honestly. And she also says that you have to set clear boundaries. Don't want to send any mixed signals. And I definitely agree with that. And so that's why I always like to say, speaking for myself, we all have different experiences, different relationships. I probably have some little high school boyfriends that I can probably be friends with, but for me, I like to speak for myself and not for others. And so for me, definitely, no, we can't be friends if I'm in a relationship. If I'm not in a relationship, then I can choose to do what I want. I can choose to do what I want if I'm in a relationship too, but I would choose not to be friends with my exes. And let's go back to a question that I saw from Asia. I get so nervous about these questions. And then also, just FYI, for those of you who subscribe to my mailing list, I did invite you all to join me on camera. And so I do have one brave person on camera behind the scenes, and I'll bring her on shortly as soon as I answer this question, and then we can go back in the chat box. And so, Asia, do you feel you can have a full and complete life in lifetime partnership? Oh, if lifetime partnership never finds you? The short answer is yes. What love lessons stand out to you most in your experience? Okay, so let me go back to the original and give the long answer. So if I cannot find love, will my life still be fulfilled and complete? Definitely, yes. I I actually like being single. I like making decisions by myself. I like living independently. I like the freedom. So I could definitely continue on, but that's not what I want to do. However, my life is, I'm a whole individual person. And if I never find that one life partner, then I probably will just have boyfriends. Just keep having, multiple boyfriends. Um, I don't know. So that was a good question, but yeah, my life would definitely be complete. I don't need another person to complete me. I'm actually looking for someone to join me on my journey. And the reason why I am single is because I've been in situations where I have met men who, no matter how much they really want to be in my life, it's not plausible. And no matter how much I really want them to be in my life, it's just not plausible. I tend, and I talk about this in my first book, I tend to I I'm not going to say that I tend to, I did date men who were emotionally unavailable, and I think I was doing that because subconsciously I was really afraid to commit. And but yeah, it's a hit or miss. It's a hit or miss. I kind of digress. But what love lessons stand out to you most in my experience? The love lessons is that, again, like I said, love is a choice. I'm definitely not jaded, and so my lessons are to just you know look at love from like an asset based approach, not necessarily what can some not my needs and my desires are important, but I also have to, just like I want someone to accept me for who I am, I have to accept them for who they are. And I have to understand that just because I may have my own individual definition of love, or how love is, or how I communicate, or how I express, or how I want to receive love, that may not be the same for that person. And so my lesson is to, just kind of take your time, to give room and to give space for you to be able to express yourself and to grow in love, and that person as well. And so that way both of you can be satisfied in that intimate relationship. And at this time, I will bring on Lorinda from Chicago. Let's see. Oh, Lorinda, your screen is black for some reason, so I am going to remove you. And maybe you can come back on. Let me try it one more time. Okay, so I will remove you, and yeah, and just sign back on when you get a chance. And let's see. We have Max says, I think it is a very healing practice. It is important to be that which you seek, as within, so is without. Yes, definitely. Let's see, any more questions? Let's see. Lorinda. Lorinda says, thanks for being open and transparent. Chapter 3 is very insightful for me. Being open to love, as well as understanding the role emotions and logic plays when building a relationship. And I'm glad that Lorinda mentioned that. And so in the book, The Resilience of a Woman, I actually I explain love as an emotion, and I express that in life, if we go in life in general, if we go about life making decisions based on emotion, we probably won't have the best outcomes. So love is definitely an action, it's a verb, but love is also an emotion. And then I also mentioned that, in my opinion, love is not enough. And so thank you so much, Lorinda. Asia asks, how do I feel about the notion that love hurts? I think that what is the saying? It's all, what is it? It's all love and war. I don't know. I forget what the saying is. But I don't think that love hurts. I think that when you are being vulnerable and when your expectations are not met, when you are betrayed, when someone betrays your trust, I think that is what's hurting. And I don't think that's love necessarily. People can make a mistake, and I think that people can love you and they can intentionally hurt you, and I think that people can love you and unintentionally hurt you as well. But I think that it's a risk that we all take if we decide, if we decide to be in any type of relationship, even in business, any type of decision relationship that we enter into, there is a risk for us to be disappointed or even hurt. But I think that's where when I go back, I'm thinking about what I said about taking our time. I think that's why it's important for us to take our time in relationships, and to also, and I talk about this in my book as well, to ask yourself, like, what are your standards, what are your values, what are your expectations. And I think it's important to communicate with that person. And this is for people, it's not just dating or entering into a relationship. Also, we want our relationships to grow and prosper. And so I think that some of these conversations are healthy for individuals who are in an existing relationship, whether it be a marriage or not. I think it's important. And keep in mind that people may grow and change, and even their definition of love, or how they love you, or how they want to be loved, may change as well. So again, I think it's so this is where there's that trust, communication, and respect, and for them to be open. And then and yeah, oh, Peggy says it's all fair in love and war. It's all fair in love and war. And I'll try again. I'm going to bring Lorinda on, and Asia, Terry, and for everyone that's asking questions, I appreciate it. And if I did not answer your question, or if you have a follow-up question, I am open to that as well. And at this time, I'll bring Lorinda back on screen. Oh, she's off. So I think we're fine. We have Peggy checking in from Chicago that just made the comment. And Lorinda, what techniques do you use when decision making to make sure that the choice is based on logic and emotions? I think I just kind of do my self-assessment. Like, I'm not just self-awareness. Am I making this decision based off of fear? Am I making this decision based off of anxiety? Or is it fear? Or is it anxiety? Or is it my intuition? And should I trust my intuition based off of my experiences and what I know? So now we're in our feelings. So sometimes we might have to get out of our feelings and put on that logic hat and say, okay, what has this person demonstrated to me? What has this person said? Not what I want this person to say, or not how I want this person to act. What is it what in actuality, what's in reality, like what is actually happening? So Lorinda, I think those would be my tools. And I just accept people for who they are. And again, I think the communication, the open communication, the check-ins, but I also believe in reciprocity. I talk about that in my book as well. Actually, in letters to my boyfriend, one of the letters that I share is a letter to someone that I dated, who I spent time with, and basically the way the dating relationship was going, it wasn't reciprocal. Eventually I found myself putting in more time, doing more reaching out. And then when I'm reaching out, you communicate with me when I reach out to you, and that's not how things should go. And so before I continue to invest any more of my time, my feelings, and my emotions into this, I am going to do a reality check for myself. And again, put on my logic hat and say, you know what? My core values, my core standards in any relationship reciprocity is key. So regardless of how I want this person to feel about me or how I envision or imagine the relationship to go, I have to accept things for how they are. And how they are right now is that this is not a reciprocal relationship, and that's against my values and my standards for myself. So I'm disappointed that we could not move forward, but so be it. You know, I'm accepting of it. And there we go, Lorinda.
Oh,
There we go. And now you're frozen on that one. Let's see. Yes, Lorinda, we're just going to give it up. We're just going to, yeah, we'll just not worry about it. Okay, and Terry, she says, personally, she's not friends with her exes, but I know many who are. And Terry, and is that working out? Is it okay? Is it positive? And I think that just depends on the situation. Let's say it's an ex-wife or ex-husband, or an ex and a child is involved. So definitely we want you all to have a healthy relationship, in some type of, in addition to co-parenting if possible, some type of healthy, friendly relationship. And I think it's okay. Like me personally, if I were in a relationship, and this has happened before, if I were in a relationship and my partner has a child with someone or children with someone, um, and it's okay for that person for us to do things together as a unit, as a family. I'm totally open and I'm totally fine with that. If that person is remarried or in a relationship, hey, y'all, we're having an event for the kids and we're gonna have a barbecue in the backyard. Y'all come on over, you know. So I'm definitely okay with that. And we have Nikki checking in from Laurel, Maryland. Thanks for joining today. And so I think I probably have answered everyone's question and acknowledged everyone watching live. Again, my name is Shawnta Jackson. If you do have any more questions, please do. We have In Your Ear Radio checking in from Las Vegas. Thank you so much. And again, my book, The Resilience of a Woman, Stories of Faith, Love, and Perseverance, is available on my website at shawntajackson.com. And I encourage you to purchase a copy for yourself, for someone that you care about. And then also I have available my first book, The Journal of a Woman with Lived Experiences, a 21-day guided journal where I share 21 of my personal journal entries. And so the plan, I'll see you next Sunday, same time, 6 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Pacific, same time next Sunday. And next Sunday, we will be discussing chapters 5 and 6. So chapter 5 is self-validation, fear, and sacrifice. And chapter 6 is perseverance, resilience, and faith. So self-validation, fear, and sacrifice, chapter 5, and chapter 6, perseverance, resilience, and faith. And that's when I go into more of my my personal journey with some of my other life experiences, in addition to being a single parenting mother, making decisions on my own, moving from Las Vegas to Maryland, taking a chance on myself, and just all of the things to where I'm at now and what I've demonstrated to myself. And we have some final comments today. We have, let's see, we have Asia. She says, I appreciate that you highlight that love is a verb and romantic love is not unconditional. That's in the book, everyone. And it should remind people to reflect on their needs in partnership and express them. Yes, definitely. So where that comment comes from is, in the book, I shared that I was having a conversation with a guy and I told him that I believed in unconditional love. And he says, there's no such thing as unconditional love. You unconditionally love your children. In a relationship, you have expectations. And if those expectations are not being met, that love is not unconditional, so therefore it is conditional. So that's where Asia's comment comes in. And then I also talk about the importance of again just basically understanding love is in phases. um Attraction for me is key, and for me, I'll speak for myself, attraction for me is key. And then I also understand that love has different phases. And one of the phases, the first phase, might be infatuation. And so sometimes people confuse love with infatuation. But I think that infatuation stage and that falling in love stage is very key. And I understand that you may not always feel like that all the time, but for me, that is very key. But then also, what are your expectations um, beyond love, lifestyle, finances, relationships with family members, friends? How does that impact our relationship, or how do you imagine that to impact our relationship? Um, Wellness, mental health, spirituality, religion. Like, these are all conversations. Your family health history and your health history, including your sexual health history, your credit, right? These are all things that it's not to judge someone. And it's not to say, oh, this person doesn't have this person doesn't have that, because I encourage everyone to kind of look from like a strength-based lens and look at the assets that the person has. Of course, you want to look at the pros and cons, but not to go in. It's not about judging, and understanding that like these are serious conversations. But I think these are conversations that should be had before we do a lot of things. But that doesn't always happen, right? So sometimes we're finding out things about people, and it's okay, whatever the outcome is of their past experiences, any past traumatic experiences, or whatever their credit history is, their family health history, whatever their sexual health history. It's whatever it is. I think it's important to be transparent. And I think that helps you to make an informed decision on how you two will decide to move, to go moving forward, and what changes or improvements that you need to make individually, or that you can make together, right? Again, thank you, Asia, for that question, or that comment regarding unconditional love. And Kyle, he says, you are touching on all the key points. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Terry, she says, that's interesting. My husband and I are not friends, but we are civil with his ex-wife and her boyfriend because kids are involved. Yeah. Yeah. So whatever works for you all. And that's the key thing, to be civil, and the kids are first. It's not about you and your feelings, right? But if that, whatever works for you all and whatever is healthy, then that's your personal decision. And I think that's okay. So sometimes we are taught by society what a relationship looks like. We are taught by society what a man should say, what a woman should say, what a person should say, how relationships should be formed, the timeline. Especially in Western society, we've been indoctrinated by these different fairy tales, which I can admit I'm very westernized, and I understand, and I acknowledge, and I accept that, and I own it. But whatever, again, my point is, whatever works for you and that person. It's just about communicating it. And Chantel is checking in from Baltimore, and she says, have the conversations. It is important. Yes, it is very important. And I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. Latoya checked in last week, and she actually joined me on camera to share some of her feedback regarding positive affirmations and the power of storytelling, and ask questions. So I really appreciate that. And John Doe, I saw your comment from Chicago, but you didn't ask a question. So again, everyone, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next Sunday, same time. We'll be discussing chapters 5 and 6. from my new book, The Resilience of a Woman, available at ShawntaJackson.com. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.